Discipline is the hammer, vision is the blueprint. And your future? That's the skyscraper you either build brick by brick or watch someone else live in. The mind loves clarity. It thrives on direction. But too many people drift through life like ships with no sails, tossed by opinions, drowned by distractions. They think they lack motivation. They don't. What they lack is vision, a reason worth suffering for, a future so magnetic it pulls discipline out of them even on the days they feel broken. Understand this. People like Thomas Edison didn't endure 10,000 failed experiments because he loved the struggle. He did it because he saw the light. Literally, he saw it when no one else did. The rewired mind doesn't wait for motivation. It is fueled by vision. What's your vision? Not some Pinterest board. Not some shallow goal. I'm talking about a crystal clear image of your next level, so vivid, so real, it haunts you in the best way possible. That vision must be burned into your mental screen until your reality bends to match it. Because the world will not move for vague dreams. It responds to clarity, to conviction. It yields to the mind that refuses to yield to anything else. Discipline is born when your vision is no longer negotiable. Think of Steve Jobs, a college dropout who saw computers not as machines, but as extensions of human potential. Everyone else built hardware. He built a philosophy. That kind of vision doesn't show up once and whisper. It knocks every day. It roars inside your ribcage until the world hears it too. And that kind of vision demands sacrifice. You will lose people. You will outgrow environments. You will trade parties for solitude, small talk for strategy, and convenience for consistency. But that's the price of elevation. Because the rewired mind doesn't chase dopamine. It builds discipline like a soldier trains for war, every day with intensity, with sacred repetition. Discipline is not punishment. It's self-respect in motion. It's telling your future, I will not let you down. So when the alarm rings and the bed feels like a trap, discipline says, up. When fear whispers, this might fail, discipline says, do it anyway. When distraction begs for attention, discipline slams the door, and every time you obey discipline over impulse, you rewrite the code. You rewire the network. You tell your subconscious, we are not that person anymore. This is how the transformation begins, not with a motivational high, but with 100 quiet acts of defiance. You are not here to be comfortable. You are not here to coast. You are here to evolve violently, intentionally, and unapologetically. Purpose is not found, it's forged, and it's forged in the fire of responsibility. Your purpose isn't waiting in the mountains. It's buried under your excuses, under your apathy, under every time you said, not yet, I'm not ready, or maybe someday. You want to rewire your mind. Then start here. Own everything. The pain, the patterns, the procrastination, all of it. You're not a victim of your past. You are the architect of your next move. But architects don't sit around waiting for inspiration. They build. Purpose wakes you up when comfort says, sleep in. Purpose keeps you in the gym when your muscles scream, quit. Purpose has one rule. If you're breathing, you're building. But here's the secret no one tells you. Purpose isn't about you. It's about what flows through you. The mind rewires faster when it has something to fight for beyond ego. When you tie your actions to something greater, your family, your future, your unborn legacy, you stop negotiating with your excuses. People like Martin Luther King Jr., Helen Keller, Nelson Mandela, they didn't do what they did for applause. They did it because their purpose left them no other choice. And once you align with purpose, identity shifts. You stop identifying as the one who's trying. You become the one who does. You move from I hope to I create. Identity is everything. If your identity says, I'm always broke, your subconscious will sabotage every financial win. If your identity says, I'm lazy, your actions will mirror that script. But if your identity shifts to, I am the kind of person who executes no matter what, then action becomes non-negotiable. You don't need more time. You don't need more hacks. You need more decisions backed by new identity. The most dangerous belief in the world is this: I'll start when I feel ready. You won't. You never will. Because the mind that's waiting for permission is still operating under old code, the same code that got you stuck, broke, afraid. Rewiring begins when you move despite fear, when you post the video, when you make the call, when you walk into the room, when you double down on the version of you no one else believes in yet, not even yourself. Action changes belief faster than belief changes action. Start messy, start scared, start late, but start. Because the longer you wait to act, the deeper the program roots itself, the more comfortable failure becomes. And the truth is, you're not afraid of failure. You're afraid that you might actually succeed and be forced to become someone new. But that's the point. That's the plan. That's the rewiring. You were never meant to stay the same. Life doesn't care about your plans. It will hit you sideways, break your momentum, gut punch your pride, and ask, are you still serious? And in that moment, your answer won't come from words. It'll come from resilience, not talent, not motivation, resilience, the ability to get up again and again without losing the fire. Because, listen closely, everyone wants the dream, but most people crumble when reality punches back. They weren't prepared for the silence. They weren't ready for rejection. They didn't expect failure to knock twice, then again, but the rewired mind, it expects adversity. It trains for it, like a soldier sharpening his sword before battle, not hoping for peace, but prepared for war. Resilience doesn't mean it doesn't hurt. It means you get up with bruises. It means you wipe the blood and whisper, "Is that all you've got?" Abraham Lincoln lost more elections than he won before becoming the man history now calls the great emancipator. He didn't win because he was lucky. He won because he refused to stay buried. And in your life, in your climb, the difference between average and extraordinary won't be the number of hits you take, and it'll be how quickly you get back up. But don't just get back up, adapt. This world doesn't wait, it evolves. And those who cling to the past, to comfort, to pride, to the way things used to be, they fade. Adaptability is a form of power. It says, I don't care if the rules change, I'll master the new game. It says, you can move the finish line and I'll still win. It says, break the map, I'll draw a new one. Because the rewired mind doesn't ask for certainty, it creates momentum in uncertainty. Success belongs to those who are fluid, who can pivot, who can shed ego like old skin and reinvent without apology. And as you adapt, as you endure, something beautiful starts to happen. You begin to master yourself. You stop reacting. You start creating. You stop explaining. You start executing. You no longer need external validation to feel internal certainty. And this is the turning point, where you no longer chase success like it's something outside of you. You realize it was always inside you, waiting for you to align with it. Self-mastery is not about perfection. It's about awareness. It's about knowing your triggers, owning your darkness, and wielding your potential with precision. You don't get to control what happens out there, but you do get to control what happens in here, in your inner world, your attitude, your reactions, your intentions. You want freedom? Then master your state. You want wealth? Then master your habits. You want peace? Then master your focus, because the most dangerous man is the one who controls himself. And through all of this, all the struggle, all the grinding, all the fire, don't forget this one code that rewires your life faster than anything else: gratitude. Not the soft cliché version, the warrior's gratitude. The kind that says, thank you for the struggle, it's shaping me. The kind that says, thank you for the failure, it's teaching me. The kind that looks at an empty bank account and still says, I'm not done. Gratitude is not passive, it is aggressive recognition of power in the present. Because when you're truly grateful, your energy changes. And energy, listen to me, is the most contagious currency you own. No one wants to follow a man drained by his own doubt. No one trusts a leader who curses his circumstances, but the one who radiates belief, who vibrates at a frequency of "I will win no matter what," that person becomes magnetic. People start asking, what is he doing differently? What does she know that we don't? And the answer is simple: you rewired your energy. Most people spend their days leaking energy, complaining, blaming, scrolling, comparing, doubting, and then wondering why they're exhausted by noon and defeated by night. But not you, not anymore, because the rewired mind guards energy like gold. It cuts toxic thoughts at the root. It protects morning rituals like sacred ground. It filters out small talk and plants seeds in silence. You realize that the most expensive thing you can give someone is not your money. It's your focus. And so you stop giving it to distractions. You stop trading hours for cheap dopamine. You stop trading your calling for comfort. You stop leaking energy on people who don't believe, don't grow, don't build. You reclaim your power. And that power multiplies. Your thoughts sharpen. Your actions align. Your confidence compounds. This is what the world doesn't tell you. You don't attract what you want. You attract what you are. So if you want to attract success, become it. If you want to attract wealth, embody it. If you want to attract greatness, live it. Not someday, not next month, now. Every day is a ceremony. Every decision, a declaration. I am not who I was. I refuse to think like the average. I don't care what they say. I know what I'm building. I rewire. I rise. I refuse to stay broke. This is your moment, not next week, not when it feels easier. Now. This is the line in the sand. This is the before and the after. This is the moment where you stop negotiating with your old life. Because your old life, the one built on scarcity, doubt, hesitation, and small dreams, has nothing left to offer you. It gave you guilt instead of goals. It gave you coping instead of conquering. It gave you habits that numbed you instead of rituals that built you. But the real you, the powerful you, is not a product of your past. It's the architect of your future. And that future is waiting on one decision. Will you keep thinking the same way, hoping for a different life to show up? Or will you burn the script, shatter the old patterns, and rewrite the code? Because let me tell you something eternal. Success is not a reward. It's a reflection. It reflects what you believe. It reflects what you tolerate. It reflects how ruthlessly you protect your standards. No more playing small. No more waiting for permission. No more saying, maybe next year. Your soul is starving, not for food, but for fire. It's craving the version of you who wakes up early with purpose, walks into rooms with clarity, speaks with conviction, and walks with divine momentum. The version of you who stops bowing to fear, who stops worshipping distraction, who stops trying to please people who've already given up on themselves. Because let's be honest, you already know what happens if you keep thinking the same way. You've lived it. You've repeated it. You've felt that quiet frustration in your gut, the one that whispers, "This isn't who I was meant to be." And that whisper, that's your true self, buried under layers of lies, screaming to break through. So what are you going to do? Will you go back to the loop, scrolling, comparing, settling? Or will you stand the hell up, rewire the machine, and claim the life that's already yours? Because the truth is, you don't need to become someone else. You just need to remember who you were before the world told you to shrink, before they told you to be realistic, before they punished your ambition, before they laughed at your dreams. You were born with this fire. You were built to lead. You were wired for greatness. And now you take it back. You wake up tomorrow and you don't look for motivation. You look in the mirror and say, I am not waiting anymore. I am not doubting anymore. I am not thinking broke anymore. I am building. I am rising. I am done pretending to be small. And every time that old voice comes back, the one that says, you're not enough, or this won't work, you look it in the eye and say, that's not my voice anymore. That's not my program anymore. That version of me is gone. And from that moment forward, every word you speak, every thought you allow, every step you take becomes a declaration. I rewired my mind, I rewrote my destiny, I refused to stay broke, and I built a life that became impossible to ignore.